Hi guys, welcome back. This is now issue 43 of Build the Classic Routemaster. So in this issue we're going to be installing a loudspeaker and more of the lower deck panel, I think. It doesn't actually say, I should have looked at last week's, but without further ado we'll go down, we'll check off the parts and we'll get assembling. So here we go, this is the package. So looks like there's about 4 or 5 parts in this issue. So we'll check off the parts as normal. Okay, so I'll just crack this open. Okay, so we've got 43A, which is the rear lower deck, which is this piece here. (43B), which is the cover, which is very similar to what we installed, was it last week? (43C), which is the sound box, which is this piece here, and you see there's like a cut out there where I assume the speaker's going to fit. 43D is the speaker itself, and that is individually packed, and it does look like a very good quality speaker. I would have thought this would be made like out of paper, like some of the speakers are, but this isn't. So I think this should be a fairly good quality speaker. We've got a fixing ring, 43E. And then we've got 13 JP screws. So I'm going to get my pot out. I'll put all those JPs in there. So it's just, yeah, obviously one lot of screws we'll be using this week. Okay, so let's move on. Just going to put some light on. Okay, so the first step is to take the sound box and fit the speaker into the perforated recess. Okay, that's the first step. So looking at the magazine, I'll just take the speaker out. If I can get, I always struggle to get these open, but it's nice that they're packed. So there is the loudspeaker. Okay, so if we have a look at this, you've got 3 holes here, and they are, it needs to be this direction. So the one at the top needs to be further to the right. If I turn this round, you've got a hole there at the top, but it's on the left. And also you want, there's these 2 little notches cut out, just about see where my thumbs are there. They need to be facing towards you. What we're going to do then is fit the speaker into the recess. I'm carefully going to move the cabling. Okay, it's going to sort of go in like that. It wants the cables towards the bottom, and then we're going to pop this ring in, the fixing ring, over the speaker so it holds that in place, and line the holes up just like so. So the reason we wanted the wires down here is obviously there is a cutout in the fixing ring to accommodate the wires that will be coming through there. We're now going to use 3 JP screws to fix that ring into place. So I'm just going to bring you in. So I'm just going to start them all off just so I can make sure it's all aligned correctly. Excuse the jumping of the screwdriver, it's the way I'm holding it, because obviously here the camera's in the way. Okay, I'm happy with that. And the speaker is now solid in there. That's fixed into place nicely. What we need then need to do is just train this wire round through between the screw there and the hole, and then there's like a little cutout on the side here that the wire will come through. And this is an optional extra, but what I am going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of electrical tape just because I like it neat. So I'm going to cut a bit off, not a lot, just about that much. In fact, I might just cut that down a little bit more. Just because I want to put some tape over the wire inside this sound box. And the reason for that is there's nothing that's going to grip this cable in here. So I just want a little bit of protection there for when we're working on it until it's in its final position, because I don't want to tug on these wires too much and end up breaking a solder joint. It's not a problem if it does happen, because I'm more than competent enough to solder that back on, but I'd rather not have to do that. So just for the sake of that, I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on there, and I might even just use this other bit here just to double secure that into place. It's not going to cause any problems. There we go. Just to make it a little bit neater. And now if that gets tugged in any way, it's not going to cause any undue stress on the connections there. So, moving on. As I say, it doesn't tell us to do that, but it's just something that I've decided to do. We're going to then position the loudspeaker box on the centre of the underside of the lower floor deck 43A, which is this part here. Okay, and the direction it's got it is exactly how I've got it here. It's got the holes, 2 large holes on the left hand side, and the wire is going to come out from this side. So when we pop this down, it's just going to be turned over. It's just going to fit on like so. There's 2 screw posts here. They're quite prominent on this side in the centre. That's where that's going to go. And obviously I know mine's okay because I've just tightened it up. I've secured it down, but make sure the wire comes through that notch just up there. Because if you don't, I can't show you now because I've secured it down, but if you don't, this isn't going to fit flush and it's going to be sticking up slightly. and the risk is you could break or damage the cables because they are quite thin. Okay, so with that being done, we're then going to drive 2 JP screws directly through these 2 holes up the top here. Obviously we're going into plastic, so don't go mad on these screws. It's just enough to keep it in place. And I'm more than happy with that. I could have another turn on them, but the risk of breaking it, so that's all that's needed. Okay. Okay, so with that being said, we're now going to flip this back over, and it wants us in this orientation now with the holes on my right. And you'll notice that there's 2 fixing screws in the centre here. Now, fixing holes even, this part here is going to go on there, and it's going to face inwards like so. Just having a look. Okay, yeah, so with that in place, we're going to hold that in place, and again with 2 JP screws from the other side, we're going to secure that in, and it's going to go in these 2 holes just here. Well, I'm going to put both in to start them off, because that's quite fiddly to hold. There we go. So that is 1 in, and 2, and that is solid, so I'm happy. And that's what that looks like. Okay, moving on. Obviously this cable is going to move. I don't think it's imperative, but it's showing a view of the rear deck, and it's showing this cable coming round here and sort of coming out like so, but obviously that's never going to stay there. I could put a little bit more tape on there to secure that down there, but obviously I don't quite know where this cable is going to go until later on in the build, so you know, it might be a case that I might put a little bit of electrical tape down just to keep that in that place if that is going to be the final position, but for now I'm just going to leave it. What I could do though, my offcut here, I am actually going to put a bit of tape on there just to keep those wires from flapping around everywhere. So I'm just going to keep it like that for the moment. Okay, so the next step is to position the front lower deck 42A on a level surface and lower side up. Okay, so we need to grab that from the last issue. Which is this part here. I'm going to have to zoom out. Now, I can't actually put this on a level surface because we've already fitted this part, so it's not going to make it level. But what I could do is use my, if I take a couple of screws out, I could use my screw pot to aid me here, like so. Yeah, that's pretty straight. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to lower this part we've just fitted with the speaker. You'll see that there's some screw holes along the side, and what's going to happen, I'm actually going to use my electrical tape as well. It's just going to sit over the 4 securing holes, like so. and then we're going to put 4 JP screws through all of them. Now this tape is a little bit higher, so I'm just going to be extra careful and not screw this all the way down at the moment, but I'm just going to get the screws in position. I'm going to do both ends first so I know that everything is lined up. Now I think this is going to make this very fragile now, this this connection here, so when we're storing this we need to be really careful. So I'm just going to support it from underneath, and I'm now going to just do the final tighten. Okay, I don't want to go any further than that. So if we have a look on this side, we see we've got the joint. You know, it's not, there is a lot of flex there, so just be careful when handling this. But I'm happy with that result. And we'll just double check them one more time just to make sure. Yeah, they are tight, so just be careful when handling this now, because this is really fragile. Okay, so that was it for issue 43. Quite a satisfying issue. As I say, we've added the, as you saw, we've added the loudspeaker. I think it's supposed to make engine noises, this model, and obviously you've got a working bell and things like that, so that'll be what that's for. Obviously I'm unable to test that at the moment. The only thing you can do is, if you're really desperate to test it, you could run a very small amount of voltage through it. I'm talking like 1 volt, if that, and you'll hear a clicking noise, if you know. But I'm not going to do that, because I'm just going to wait for now and see what happens when we actually install it. But yeah, that's it for this week. If you haven't already seen, please check out our new Facebook group. You can look at other people's YouTube videos, check out other people's builds, and just share the hobby. You know, you can post anything bus related, whack it on there, whether it be, as I say, YouTube links, your own personal projects or mods, you know, your stages so far. It's a really good group, and yeah, it's just all about having fun. So the link for that is in the description below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you wish to buy me a coffee, there is a link in the description below. But until next week, take care. Bye bye.